All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning into another episode of When Coffee Meets Tea. I'm Rob Gerard.
I'm Denise Bertolovitz.
How you doing, Denise?
I'm good. I'm always making a face when we first go to show. Like it's so crazy. I actually look back and watch the YouTube, so I'm like, oh my, what was that face that I just made? I don't know.
Listen.
It's questionable. So how am I doing today? Questionable.
Questionable.
It's always
It
questionable.
has been a hot minute since we've been here. I feel like it's
I
been probably like
know.
at least 6 weeks.
It has been. It's been weeks. A lot
Yeah.
going on in all these weeks too. Personally, just professionally, everything, life. I mean, the world. It's a good place. It's all good.
Yeah, and we've been getting a taste of the warm weather. I hope the warm weather's here to stay. And even though fall is definitely my favorite season, that goes without saying. Fall's my favorite season, but there's something about that springtime, spring in the air vibe, right?
Yeah, but I have to ask you, why is fall your favorite?
I mean,
I want to see if it's
come
the
on.
typical answer. Okay,
It's
go ahead.
everything.
Throw it at me.
The perfect weather, the foliage.
Okay, thank God
Everything.
you did not say whatever, pumpkin spice. Pumpkin spice. Always about the pumpkin spice.
Well, what's crazy? Listen, the pumpkin spice it comes out in August now, so it's
Oh
not even.
my gosh.
They really
right?
milk that thing for for a good 5-6 months.
Well, did you see? I mean, I went to CVS the other day. They had Halloween candy already.
Yeah.
Just didn't feel like it though. Oh my gosh, that's like, I don't know about you, but I'm on this like sugar crazy crave lately. Like my relationship with sugar, it's got to go. Like it's a bad relationship.
You know what? I can't believe you say that because it has literally been the same exact thing with me. I do my worst eating. I eat my calories. I don't drink my calories. All right. Like people talk about like drinking soda, drinking juice, drinking sugary seltzers. Listen, I eat candy. I eat chocolate and peanut butter.
That's me. The same.
Wow.
And as a matter of fact, it's interesting. I had a bag of Reese's peanut butter thins on the counter, and I haven't opened it yet because, of course, I devoured the other bag.
Why would you go with
And
thins? Let me ask you. Why do you go with thins instead
because
of?
I can stack them. I'm being serious. I'm like,
That's awesome.
this is awesome. It's like you can make an even bigger than the bigger Reese's peanut butter cup. So I stacked
Wow.
like 4 of those babies.
So are those suckers worth buying?
They are.
Oh
And the
my
best
God.
part is if you buy the white chocolate with the peanut butter and the chocolate with the peanut butter, stack those babies. You
Oh
stack the
my
white chocolate in the
God.
middle of the milk chocolate too, and you're just like, oh my God, I'm in Reese's
Listen,
peanut
you
butter cup
sound
heaven.
like. How is it that you look so good? You sound like an overweight. You sound like you should be 500 pounds.
Because I talk a lot. Talking burns calories.
That's true. Absolutely.
We
Absolutely.
Come on, you should have already known that.
So today, what we're going to be talking about is, what is summer going to look like for you this summer? And we're probably be all over the place, right? Knock on wood. It feels like we're, this COVID thing is behind us. And so just to get an idea of what a normal summer might look and feel like. And I'm kind of curious, Denise, just to know what your summer is going to be and what you're planning and kind of connect and see how seasons and mental health are, kind of together. They're kind of melded.
I love this topic. I'm going to love this conversation. So, you're talking about seasons, right?
Yeah.
And coming out of winter, coming out of almost hibernation is what I call it, right? And it's interesting because the older that I get, the worse winter is. So I'm like, oh, I'm so happy for summer.
Why haven't you
So-
moved down south? Why do you think? What's
Because I'm
kept
a
you?
northerner at heart. Like I love southerners. I love all people. It's just that I am so loyal. I'm born and raised here, so my loyalty is with my family. I'm a caretaker.
Yeah.
I guess, you know what? Never say never, because maybe I'll revisit that if anything ever happens to my mom, and life
Yeah.
changes. Like
Yeah.
we don't know where the future's going to be. I do love it there. As a matter of fact, even I could imagine myself living in Hawaii. That is definitely, but wherever life takes me. And right now I feel like this is where I need to be. And I enjoy it here. I like the pace, but every year the snow gets a little rough. But talking about summer, I have to tell you this, and I'm interested to hear what you think about my answer. Is my typical summer is not going to be my typical summer this year because I'm going to redefine it.
Wow. Really?
As that comes closer as it actually is in each moment. Yeah.
So talk to me about what you're redefining your summer to look like, because when I hear you say each moment, the first thing I think of is mindfulness. And mindfulness is truly about doing your best to be aware of your surroundings in the moment and trying to be one in the moment, because too often we have one foot in the past, which can lead to depression, and we have one foot in the future, which can lead to anxiety. So that's where a lot of this stuff kind of, I think stems from. But you're talking about being in the moment. My first thing is mindfulness. So talk to me about being in the moment and how you're going to redefine that.
Okay, so this might go a little bit deep. So I'm thinking about, first I want to clarify past summers. So when I look at my history and I look at who I am as a person, I have always enjoyed my life. So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I've had the most horrible summers and, oh, I have to redefine my life because my life was just terrible. No.
Well, I remember you telling me about your summer. I think you nicknamed it the Blackout of 2014.
Oh yeah, we have lots and lots of stories, non-drinking stories. Just I wanted to black out that particular summer because the people around me was more like, oh my God, what is happening to me? I need to run away.
It's almost like whiting out a mistake on a sheet of paper. You black it out in your memory.
Yeah, and that's okay. Thank you, because I'm gonna spin right off that.
Yeah.
I love our conversations because we so get each other.
Yep.
Because that's where I'm going with that. Is that I have always been fine and it's been great, but I haven't ever defined a summer for myself. I have always gone with the flow. And has that been a problem? I don't know. Like you know what? Let's not look backwards. Let's look forwards and let me determine now what I really enjoy and what's going to be best for me. And things like changing, not being the designated driver because I just don't feel like it and I don't even want to go to a bar. Things like, you know what, my summer is going to be peaceful. It's not going to be parties every weekend. It's not going to be, what everybody else wants to do. It's what do I really want to do? So when you ask me what's your summer going to be like, my summer is going to be exactly whatever I decide it to be. And the mindfulness is going to be in each moment and how I'm feeling in that moment. So I might wake up, how am I going to be mindful? And tell me more about that. Like, because people always talk about this mindfulness thing. Like, what is your opinion on mindfulness? Because as women, I'll tell you this, we always tend to think of mindfulness along yoga and like, oh, I have to be zen in the moment and meditate. But when you talk about life, what is your therapist approach to that, being mindful?
Well, before I go into my therapist approach of mindfulness, I want to go into my Rob approach of Summer of Denise. There was a Seinfeld episode where George had just lost his job and his fiance just died, and he deemed it the Summer of George. So,
I remember that one.
Yep. So he was like trying to celebrate, and he was trying to, but nothing was going right. Like he's like, his idea of the Summer of George was like him shirtless in his boxer shorts, eating a block of cheese on his couch. It was just, phenomenal.
Oh my God! So you're like forecasting a.
So when I see the Summer of Denise,
me?
I'm like, oh my God, the Summer of Denise looks terrible. Oh my God.
I don't know. It could get out of control. I have to be careful with this. I am a Leo, and I, it's always the innocent looking ones that you have.
Is
to
the
be.
Leo the lion?
It is.
Oh, okay, so you're like, what's the proper term for the female lion, the mother lion?
The lioness.
The lioness, yes. Okay.
Yes.
So you're like Nala from Lion King.
Oh, I love the Lion King. Who doesn't, right?
No, Lion King is
the best.
Yeah, legendary. So, anyways, classic. So mindfulness is just really about trying to remain in the moment and just being aware of everything. And a lot of times it's recommended, maybe closing your eyes for a moment and taking some slow, deep breaths in, and just kind of centering yourself. And I think the reason why people think of yoga so much is because a lot of that is really the concept is practiced in yoga. It's about being one with yourself. And, when you do the when you do the humming and you do all this stuff, what you're doing is you're really centering yourself and trying to tap into your core. And mindfulness is about experiencing and really cashing in on the moment and not just overlooking the moment.
I love how you put that into perspective, and I am very into the physical approach of mindfulness in breathing, even telling myself, okay, come back to the moment. Come back to the moment,
Yeah.
Denise. Like, don't worry. And you just helped me, in a way, define my summer. So I'm thinking now about how I'm in this moment in my life where I'm healing from the past and trying very hard to not look backwards because, again, right, that leads to depression. And I don't want to worry too much about the future. I do not believe in living for today. I'm not this person that's like, woohoo, let's just have a good time. Like, we have to think about the future and plan. But I have had a bad habit of making my worries very real. So controlling that. So I love that you said that, because how do I want to live my summer? What's my summer going to look like? It's going to look like depression free and anxiety free.
I love it.
I want to breathe. I want to soak in the sun. I want to enjoy the moments, whatever they may be. And I want to relax.
And I mean, that sounds amazing. I love that you said that. And there's a huge difference, right? But also a very thin line between preparation and projecting, right? And that just kind of like came to me as you're talking about, like, you don't want to be living in the future or the past. I mean, we all want to prepare, right? I mean, we all have to prepare. I'm preparing dinner tonight. I'm thinking about, okay, what am I going to cook? Do I need to stop at the store? Blah blah blah. But there's a big difference between preparation and projection.
Ooh,
that's huge.
That is huge, right? And that's where, we talk about the ADHD, right? So for a person with ADHD, projection can be paralyzing. That can be like, I'm going to worry so much about all these things that are happening that I'm just literally going to be paralyzed, and I'm not even going to be able to go into the future, and that anxiety just gets worse. So you think about that. It's like, how do you control those thoughts? Like, how do I say to myself, I'm going to have a great day tomorrow. I'm going to have a great summer. And I know I have XYZ worries, but how do I put those aside?
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. So do you have any kind of bucket list things for something that you're like, you know what? This is something I actually want to do. I want to accomplish this summer. I don't give a damn.
Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
It's not even going to surprise you. With all seriousness, I
A face tattoo.
will go skydiving
Get out of
this
here.
summer. Yes, it is. Well, get out of here. I might be gone. You might. I don't
Now,
know.
have you
I might
ever
fly away in the wind?
Have
I'm
you
not
ever
sure.
been skydiving?
I have never been skydiving. I have a relative that skydives. I have my dad's cousin who's like an uncle to me, family members, his daughter. But I've never done that. And I've done, as you know, very daring things in my life. And this is okay. And here's why I want to do this. My summer is going to be mindful. I'm going to do my best to heal, continue to heal, not, control and learn how to process my thoughts and not project them. But one thing that I have really, really been wounded with is this uncertainty. So years ago, I was so fine with uncertainty. Was exciting to me. I was like, whoa, uncertainty. For the last probably 4 or 5 years, let me say the last, almost 4 years,
Okay.
uncertainty has become paralyzing. It has become horrible to me. It is so scary to me. So I want to go skydiving because I want to remind myself that uncertainty can be exciting and
Wow.
scary at the same time. Do you think I'm not scared? Heck yeah, I'm scared. I'm going to just admit it, but I want to get to the edge of the plane and remember that the fear is there, face it, feel it, and remember that uncertainty can be exciting and fearful. And as long as you face it and do it, then you know what? You never know until you try.
Wow. And I mean,
So
skydiving
that's it.
sounds amazing, but I'm so scared of heights that I don't know, I faced a lot of my fears, I think, with heights when I went to Six Flags when I took my nephew to Six Flags 2 years ago,
Oh,
and we went on like a bunch of roller coasters. That was fun. But I think for me this summer, I'm really going to try to enjoy this summer with my wife and daughter. My daughter is going to be 1 years old in June, and I mean it's totally different. I mean I literally had a newborn last summer, so this summer, she's going to be, she's crawling now. She's probably going to be walking around, and so I want to truly soak in everything with my family, and then on top of that, I think I want to try to really knock out some projects at my house that are. I have like 4 projects that are like half done. And, it's just about trying to put a lid on all those things because, I know you've mentioned ADHD in the past, and I'm not saying I have ADHD, but I think my attention just jumps all over the place, and I lack patience sometimes. So I jump from project to project without actually completing them.
and it's, you know what? It's interesting you said that because it's life, right? It distracts
Yeah,
you. And let me clarify this because I love what you said, and I love how we're so much alike, but we're so
I
different.
know. It's great.
I love the fact that you just said spending time with your wife and your child because that is so important because time goes by so fast.
Oh my
So,
God.
from your perspective, you're also putting that time into you. That's helping you grow.
Yep.
That's your happiness. For me, it's I'm putting that time into myself because time goes fast. And you know what? I don't want to be on the headlines and be 104 jumping out of a plane. Well, oh, you never know. And I look at that and I'm like, okay, what's good for you is not going to be good for someone else. Do I look at you and say you would want to? Maybe, but you do have a fear of heights. But I also know the responsibility factor is that, like for me, if I had a child, that's all I would want to do is I would
Yeah.
not be saying, I'm going to jump out of a plane because I would never put myself in that situation, in
Yeah.
that chance,
Yeah.
But for me, it's just we're two alike people at two different time periods and even ages in our life,
Yeah.
and projects are great because they make you feel so good when they get done.
Definitely. And you know that because, I know you have, properties you're working on and stuff. And, but yeah, it's all beautiful stuff. And, I guess before we wrap up, we definitely need to shout out our, coffee sponsor, right? Which is,
Candlewood Coffee.
yeah, I was waiting for you to jump
You
in.
know
Yeah.
what? I wasn't looking at you. See,
I know.
that's
I
what
know.
happens.
But yeah,
Like,
Candlewood
yeah.
Coffee, definitely a big shout out to them. You can get, Robbie's Roast through them, which is an incredible blend of coffee, and you can get
Denise's Positivity.
Denise's
Yes, which is a
Positivity.
nice blend of just nice black American tea. So it's almost like an English breakfast tea.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
yeah, I'm really excited about that. Like I
Yeah.
love so go on to our link tree, go on to our Instagram.
Yep. Go onto our Instagram. Our link tree is there, and then you click the link, and it brings you to everything that you want to go to.
Discounted purchase, which is
Yep.
great. So yeah, we'll be sitting and enjoying our coffee and tea.
Yeah.
I might have to jump out with a Candlewood coffee mug. Let's see if I could keep the coffee in the mug.
All right.
I'm
So
just thinking about, I know, like I always do this. You're like, let me close. But then I'm like, I'm thinking about M. And I'm like, are you going to have her swim this summer?
oh yeah. Oh yeah, big time. Yeah,
Oh,
we're
I
going.
love that.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy you said that because we're actually, I think, probably going to pull the trigger on getting a pool. So
Woo,
something we're
yeah.
looking forward to. So
That's awesome.
we definitely want her to be able to swim and all that stuff.
So you're not gonna throw her in the creek?
Exactly. So when
I'll
I
be
throw
like, Rob, what's up? Oh, hey Meg, like what's up? Oh, we're just by the creek. Teaching her how to swim.
Listen, when I throw the baby out with the bathwater, I want her to be able to at least swim,
Oh,
So,
it's
but-
all good fun.
I know. So, all right, guys, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget, you can check out all our prior episodes on Spotify, iTunes, under podcasts, YouTube. And we want to give a big shout out to Paul Abraham, who has continued to be intern extraordinaire. He has his podcast that you can find on our link tree as well. So definitely tune in, guys. And thank you very much for spending some time with us, guys. I'm Rob Gerard.
I'm Denise Bertolovitz.
Have a good one.
Ciao, ciao.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode. You can check out other episodes of our podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever else podcasts are streamed. Find us on Instagram at When Coffee Meets Tea Podcast or www.whencoffeemeetstea.com. Rob and Denise want to thank the listeners.